My name is Jack McLord, aka Izzy James. Presently, I live in Monroe, New York, which is a suburb just north of New York City, about an hour out of New York City. I represent myself as an entity. Izzy James is sort of my alter ego, but it's my music personality. And Izzy James, Jack McLord, uh, is a spiritual being. I am here as a spiritual being having a physical experience, which I know is sort of a cliche at this point, but cliches are based on the truth, and that's what it is for me. I represent the aspirations of the highest human qualities that we possess. So, in other words, I am aspiring to be the best human I can be. When I say best, I'm talking about because I don't hate to use words like good or bad and best and worst, but higher in the sense of it's coming from a place of love as opposed to a place of fear. As fear is a low vibrational energy and love is a high vibrational energy. A world that I'm going to cop somebody else's phrase, but it's such a good phrase. It's called a world that works for everyone, and which of course is not what we have now. And basically, I am focused on creating music that will inspire people. That's the complete intent of the music is to inspire people. And if we look at history, which I do, any significant thing humans do, music is a part of it. Try watching a movie without a soundtrack. It's almost impossible to do. You'll be distracted the entire time. You won't even see the movie because you'll say, "Where's the music? Where's the music?" And unfortunately, our music has been for the most part, and everybody's aware of this, our music has been kind of dumbed down and made less than what it could be. Definitely less than inspirational. And I don't want to attack it too much because I'm in the business. But at the same time, I realize that music plays an important role in the human experience. For example, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, basically what's happening in their brain is their auditory channels are firing up and maybe some other parts of the brain are firing up to understand what I'm saying and to respond to what I'm saying. When music enters the brain, it covers the whole brain. People who have Alzheimer's and dementia can't remember their own name, can't remember their family members, can sit down and play a concerto on the piano. So music is a very basic part of humans. Very basic. Sound is a very basic part of our existence. And it has been sort of pushed aside in our current society, or made actually to work almost against us as opposed to for us. I'm old enough to remember the 60s. And in that time, music was the central focus. Without the music, there was no 60s movement. There was no peace movement back then. It was all about the music. So we need to restore that. And that's basically what I'm about, is trying to restore that. And so this inspirational music becomes the background, as opposed to what can I do to you and what you can do to me and blah, 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 and how much money we can get and all those kind of silly things you hear in music today, which don't really promote anything of a higher human quality. I have two CDs that I've completed at this point. The first one called A Call to Conscience. That CD was I was sort of in a political stage at that point in my life where I was learning about what was going on in the world and was very upset and unhappy about it. And I was able to sort of work through that angst by creating the music. And in so doing, it really galvanized my purpose, what I'm doing here. My basic belief is that all of us are gifted beings. And the key to our having a successful life is to figure out what those gifts are and then utilize them. And utilize them not only for ourselves, but utilize them for the whole, for everyone. And so the most predominant gift that I have is music talent. I have other gifts, but the music talent is definitely the top of the food chain for me. And I believe it also is the way to get past people's defense mechanisms. So I do a lot of talking and speaking. I've done quite a bit of public speaking. And I know that when you use words, people will tune in, tune out, whatever. They'll put up stop signs. Oh, that's the wrong word. I don't like that word. Use the word God, and you can get all kinds of reactions from people. but you put it in a song and you get a whole different reaction. So in the music, I'm going to let some of my secrets out. Basically, the music I felt had to be very appealing just on its own. Most music that is positively oriented is corny, and nobody's going to spend any time listening to it. So the music, the sort of the foundation or the chassis of the music had to be carried on something that was appealing to people, whether they understood the words or not. And when people listen to music, that's the first thing that they do. They don't actually know all the words, or sometimes they never know the words. But if it has a groove to it, it has a certain feel to it. We are, as I said, music is very much an integral part of us. And so when the music is done in a way that aligns with us, it is a very, very strong influence on us and can lift us out of a bad mood. It happens to me all the time. I'll put on a song, sometimes my own, sometimes Marvin Gaye, sometimes Stevie, whatever, and I'll feel better. I mean, I know I feel better after hearing that song. So that is kind of in a nutshell, my mission is to get this music in the airwaves. And it's really not about me becoming successful as me, because my whole belief system is about we all need to be successful. I can't be successful unless you're successful in the truest sense of the definition of success that I have. Success for me means that, because I wrote a song called We Are One. And what I mean by that, we're not actually the all same person, but we are of the same energy. We come from the same source. And in that sense, we are one. There's only one, and we come from that. We are sparks of that. And so I'm not looking to be up one on somebody. I'm looking to be equal but different, and an individual. And I do the music thing. You might do something else. But I appreciate what everybody does. I appreciate all the religions. And I just can't be a part of them. That's all there is to it. I'm very much a spiritual person, but not a religious person. I think when you put labels on things, it tends to limit them, tends to shut them down. So as I said in the beginning, I am a spirit being, and here having a human experience. And that has to be the sponsoring thought for everything that I do. In terms of what people can do, Izzy James, as I said, is my music personality, and I have a website. You can go to the website and read a little bit about me. I have a Facebook page. You can go there and check that out. As I said before, you can definitely engage in the music. I'm looking for, I'm now ready to start performing the music live, and the music doesn't fit into sort of the standard categories. So it's not gospel, it's not Christian rock, and so I would give it a category. I have to. It's inspirational music. Okay, and there's some of it that relates directly to God, some of it, and it's my experience with God, and some of it's more, like I say, socially relevant music. The recent music that I'm doing now, the current music that I'm creating right now, I'm in the studio recording now. This music again is all, there's no God in this one, but it's that where there's God and everything, but there's no mention of God in the music, but it's all very inspirational. Beautiful People is one of the songs. We Will Rise is one of the songs. These songs are all about us coming up to that high level. And I performed some of these songs down in South Carolina, in Myrtle Beach, at a spiritual center recently. And the response was very strong. People came out of there saying, oh, I wish I had that song every morning so it would lift me up for the day. And that's exactly what I'm going for. I think it's kind of how I'm built. I have a belief that there are people on the planet who are here to be of service to others. I'm one of those people. There are people on the planet who are here to be service to self. And I'm not making a judgment on that. It's just what it is. Service to self is people who are more focused on what they can get, even at the expense of others. Whereas service to other people, service to others are, we'll do things for others at our expense. And that's what I do. I've been doing it kind of my whole life. So this is actually not a deviation. This is just another manifestation of who I am. That's all this is. I went back to school back in 2006, 2007 for training as a health counselor, holistic health counselor. I learned an awful lot. I knew quite a bit going in. It's mostly about nutrition, but it's holistic living. And we were told what we should charge for it. And I said, that's way too much money. That's way too much money. I do it for free now. And I don't go around to everybody. I pick particular people. If I come across somebody who's having problems, I offer my services. And recently on Facebook, I put something. I said, I've been offering my services. Nobody's asking. So either everybody's really healthy, or they don't think I have anything worth to offer. It's worth anything. And then people, of course, got the message and they started asking about stuff. And it makes me feel good. It makes all of us feel good if we allow ourselves to do it. When you do things for other people, you're doing things for yourself. There's no better feeling than to do something for somebody else, especially if you can see the reaction. But even if you can't, doing things for other people makes you happy. That's the only thing I think that really can make you happy. Action that makes you happy. I can't think of another action that makes me happy. Because usually actions come after I'm already happy or angry or whatever it is. This action makes me happy. It's what we all will. I'm very confident. We're very close to a world, as dark as things may look right now, because dark is before the dawn. I believe we're very close to a breakthrough. Very close. And what I'm talking about, I've seen already many things that I've thought about and read about and were told about come to fruition. And I expect that to continue. I expect us to, as I said, rise and be the magnificent beings that we are in hiding. Serenity. Abundance. A sense of abundance, because I think we're abundant already, but it's about perception. Belief. Cooperation. Kindness. Support. Basically, it's all the positive words that we would use. As I'm going through them now, I'm realizing peace would require us to see each other as not a threat, but as a companion or as a reflection of ourselves. If we can see each other without a sense of threat, because we see each other as separate, therefore I have to protect myself against you because you might do something to me. This is the basis for chaos and war. So the basis for peace is unity. Unity consciousness. In other words, we think in the same way. We don't have to have laws because we know the right things to do. When we have peace, governments will go away. We don't need governments because we know how to behave. Right now we have governments because we don't know how to behave. So when we attain a level of consciousness that is required to have peace, peace will look like everybody doing what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, without criticism from anybody else. In fact, nothing but support from everybody else. That's part of the vision that I have of a peaceful world. The main thing, waking up in the morning and just feeling good. Not worrying about money, not worrying about war, not worrying about disease. Because disease, I'm going to get too heavy on I'm a conspiracy theorist, by the way. Throw that in there. But I'm very proud of that label, by the way. But the point is that we as a people, I would say developmentally, we are infants in terms of the cosmos. And I'm very much a cosmos citizen. And it's obvious in our behavior, we don't know how to not kill ourselves or kill each other. We haven't learned not to kill each other yet. So that means we're really, really immature. We're not bad. We're just immature. And as we mature and grow, we will learn that those things don't work for us. I think people are learning it now. I think people are getting to the point where they're sick of war. That's all I hear. That's all I've seen since I've been alive. I know for a fact this country has been in existence for about 240 years. It's been at war for about 220. There it is. So we have a warlike world. That's the world we are in. So us beings of light, who are trying to move us from the world of war to the world of peace, we have a long road to row. No question about it. A long road to hoe, I should say. But there's no question about that. But the end is in sight. Peace is at hand. I believe, and I will give the words, but I believe that the youth are the ones that are doing the teaching. I know for myself, my children have taught me most of what I understand about what's important in the world today. But seriously speaking, we have beings coming onto the planet now who are beyond the normal, beyond the normal capabilities of most humans. They've been called crystal children, indigo children, and on and on. And the point is that they're coming in with these extraordinary talents, doing things that they shouldn't be able to do by our standards, not even close to what they should. They're playing at professional, not even higher than some professionals. They're playing at an extremely high level musically. I've seen several. I've heard them talk. I've seen their artwork. These beings are not normal humans. That's all there is to it. So they're teaching us that there is more beyond what we see and perceive and hear and taste and smell. We have abilities way beyond that. So the children are teaching us. Now, my words of wisdom to the other children is life is not a snapshot. Life is a movie. And so when you are stuck at a point in your life or when a situation happens to you, this is a snapshot. A boyfriend breaks up with you, you get into a car accident, you break your leg, your parents get divorced, you have emotional problems, you're depressed, you have a drug problem, whatever those things are, they're a snapshot. And you have to move through the snapshot and continue to live your movie life. Because I've been around long enough to realize that when I thought it was the end of the world for me, well, obviously it wasn't, because I'm sitting here. When I thought the worst thing that could have happened, it wasn't the worst thing. It turned out to be one of the pretty good things. The best thing that happened to me, in terms of, not the best, well, I guess it is the best thing. About 2006, 2007, same time I was going to school, I got a hernia. And I was very upset because I do work where I need my physical body. And I couldn't go to work, and I had to pay somebody to replace me and for my business. And I'm saying all the money I'm losing, blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't walk. I was on my back for about 6 weeks. So since I couldn't move, I started just playing the guitar, just banging away on this guitar. And all of a sudden, song ideas started coming. And then I started crying. And out of the tears, I didn't know why I was crying. I'd get very emotional and start crying. And I'd start writing. Words and ideas were coming to me. And I'd start writing. And that was the beginning of my first CD. So the thing that appeared to be the worst thing, me not being able to work, losing all kinds of money, in terrible pain, and can't walk, can't do anything, turned into a turning point in my life, basically. And put me past that barrier. For whatever reason, I didn't put out any music of my own before then, officially, and that did it. So what looks to be whatever it is at one point in your movie can be completely different when you move down the film strip and get to another point of that same scenario. So keep the faith. The only thing I would add is this. Based on what I've studied and learned, and it's been substantial, I have to say, out of all that, what it comes down to basically is that we don't know what we're doing. Basically, as humans, we really don't know what we're doing. And we put on a good show. We have the facade. We all do it. We all are actors. And people say, well, how are you doing? And you go, fine. That's really not true, usually. But that's what we say. So we're used to saying things that aren't true, not in a harmful way. But we just do this. We're used to acting. And we're used to not really focusing in on what it is that we actually feel and what's really important to us. Because we are, for the most part, very concerned about how we appear to other people. And I call this an ego-driven life, where how am I? What do I look like? And I understand it. I did the same thing. I do it less now. But I totally get it. The deal is that none of us can really judge or criticize another one of us because we don't understand what the other person's even doing here. First of all, we don't understand what we're doing here. But there is a certain combination of things. I've seen arrogance and ignorance go together in people. People who don't really have a lot of information covered up by using, they'd sort of be very blustery. They'd be very arrogant about what they're doing. And I found this out with musicians. The better the musician was, the kinder the person was. They were confident in their abilities. They didn't need to prove anything to anybody. They weren't trying to make somebody look bad so they can look good. These are all ego-driven kind of behavior. And unfortunately, it's really encouraged by the social media and the media in general in our country. but it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel bad. So it's a very simple thing. I'm gonna take somebody else's line that I've learned from. Follow your heart's highest excitement. Figure out what makes you excited and do it. And don't worry about what anybody else says. They don't know. I don't care if they're your parents. I don't care if they're the President of the United States. I don't care who they are. If they're another human being, they don't know what you want.